Welcome back to my stand-up channel. 6 people have been killed and more than 30 others hurt following a string of mass shootings across the country this weekend as Halloween celebrations were marred by real-life horrors. At least 6 mass shootings unfolded between Friday night and early Sunday morning, including 2 in Texas, 2 in California, 1 in Illinois, and 1 in New Mexico amid what experts are calling an unprecedented surge in murders in the U.S. Joliet, 2 dead, 12 hurt. Police in Illinois were searching on Sunday for 2 suspects who are believed to have opened fire at a house party in Joliet, southwest of Chicago, killing 2 and injuring 12. A sheriff's patrol sergeant heard 10 to 12 gunshots fired in the area of Jackson Street and Walnut Street early Sunday morning, the Will County Sheriff's Office said in a news release. The officer responded and saw more than 100 people fleeing eastbound on Jackson Street. Investigators have since determined the shooting unfolded near a DJ booth set up in the backyard of a home. Witnesses told detectives 2 people fired on the crowd of nearly 200 from a porch overlooking the party. One of the gunmen was described as a Hispanic male wearing a red hoodie. The second shooter was described as a light-skinned man wearing a ski mask and yellow hoodie. 2 people were pronounced dead at the scene while at least 4 of the dozen injured were transported to local hospitals to be treated for gunshot wounds. The identities of the dead will not be released until their family has been notified, police said. Witnesses told CBS 2 how the party quickly descended into a nightmare. "You could just tell something was going to happen," said a party guest named Nathan. "I never thought my friend was going to die. I just heard people screaming, saying, 'There's bodies on the floor. People are getting hit.'" Nathan said. "I seen people come out with blood on their hands. No arrests have been made. The circumstances surrounding the shooting remain under investigation." Detectives with the Will County Sheriff's Office began conducting interviews at various locations and the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force was activated in order to assist detectives with conducting interviews, the Sheriff's Office said. Texarkana, 1 dead, 9 hurt. The gunman opened fire less than an hour after a separate shooting in Texarkana, East Texas, that left 1 dead and 9 others injured. Officers responded to reports of shots fired at Octavia's Event Center in the 2300 block of Texas Boulevard just before midnight. On arrival, police encountered a large number of people running from the building and several inside suffering from gunshot wounds, the Texarkana Police Department wrote in a statement on Facebook. A few hundred people were said to have been inside the venue when the shots rang out. The deceased victim has not yet been named but is described as a 20-year-old male who died shortly after being admitted to an area hospital. The other 9 victims' injuries do not appear to be life-threatening, police said. The motive of the shooting is currently unknown, but the preliminary investigation indicates that it may have been the result of some type of disturbance among some of the party-goers, Texarkana PD said. The suspect is believed to have fled the scene in an unknown vehicle. On Sunday morning, an arrest warrant was issued for 21-year-old Keon Ty McElroy in relation to the shooting. McElroy turned himself into police after detectives contacted several of his family members and friends regarding the warrant. He was booked into the bi-state jail on 1 count of aggravated assault, with additional charges to be filed against him on Monday. Houston, 1 dead, 3 hurt. Elsewhere in the Lone Star State, a young woman was killed and 3 others hurt when a house party in Houston turned deadly at 12:50 a.m. on Sunday morning. The deadly incident happened at a home in the 1900 block of Schleider Drive. Police immediately began searching the home and found a deceased 18-year-old woman, who has not yet been named. Officers later learned that 3 other victims had been taken to the hospital, including a 16-year-old boy. The 16-year-old boy is said to be stable, with the conditions of the other 2 victims are currently unclear. Police said it appears as though shots were fired in the back of the house and out front on the street. Party-goers quickly ran from the home when the shooting began, cops say. A gun was found in a nearby ditch but according to HPD asked Chief Y. Bashir. It's unclear whether it was involved in the shooting. Bashir told KHOU 11 that HPD has one possible suspect and continues to search for more witnesses. Most of the partygoers were teens and young adults, according to investigators. No charges have been filed at this time. The cause of the shooting is under investigation. Gilroy, 1 dead, 3 hurt. A deadly shooting also occurred in Gilroy, California in the early hours of Saturday morning at the home of a local city council member, Rebecca Armendariz, during a Halloween party. Officers were called to the home in the 400 block of Las Animas Avenue just before 1 a.m. Police said an altercation happened before a suspect fired a gun. In total, 4 people were shot, including a man who was pronounced dead at the scene. The 3 other victims were transported to local hospitals, with 2 of those victims suffering life-threatening injuries, Gilroy PD said. The victims ranged in age from 17 to 19. Benjamin David Calderon, 19, was arrested on Sunday and charged on suspicion of homicide in relation to the shooting. He was taken into custody after members of the Gilroy, Morgan Hill Regional SWAT team served a warrant at a home in the 7100 block of Church Street. Speaking to local media, neighbors said they have been left stunned by the shooting. Rosalio Pineda, who lives in the neighborhood, told NBC Bay Area that he attended the costume party Friday night but left early. "I had gone over there with my youngest son and I didn't like what I saw," he said. It was pitch black and a lot of people wearing dark clothing. Neighbors reported hearing several gunshots and added the street was so packed with cars that first responders struggled to reach the victims. There wasn't enough space for ambulances and firefighters, so the paramedics were just running with gurneys, Pineda said. Zitlali Gonzalez told KPIX about 80 people attended the party. Most of them appeared to be teenagers and young people. "It was really surprising because she's always been a really good neighbor," Gonzalez said. "She never throws parties. So it was kind of unexpected." Armendariz released a statement on Saturday, voicing shock over the tragedy, and gratitude that she and her family escaped unharmed. By now you may have seen the post from Gilroy Police Department regarding the investigation of a shooting on Las Animas, or one of many social media posts speculating about the event and individuals involved, she said. "Because this remains an active investigation, I am unable to share more at this time, but I would like to thank all of the members of the community who have reached out to express their concerns for their patients. I am thankful that my family and I, who live on Las Animas, were not hurt in this tragedy, and I pray for those whose loved ones have been touched by what has occurred. In the meantime, we are giving our full cooperation to the Gilroy Police Department in this investigation." She continued, "Our primary concern is for the individuals impacted and their families. We hope the Gilroy community will come together with love and support for those touched by yesterday's events at the appropriate time." Stockton, 1 dead, 2 hurt. 1 man was killed and 2 others hospitalized following a shooting at a party in Stockton, California, at 11:40 p.m. on Friday night. The shooting happened in the 2200 block of E. Vine Street, according to the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office. Osman Ali Khan, 21, died from the injuries he sustained. The other 2 victims remain in hospital. Their conditions and identities are currently unknown. No further details have been released. SJCSO said this is an active and ongoing investigation. Anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to call dispatch at 209-468-4400. Albuquerque, 4 hurt. In Albuquerque, New Mexico early Saturday morning, 4 people were shot and wounded during a large house party on the city's west side. All 4 of the victims suffered gunshot wounds to their legs, although police said none of the injuries were life-threatening. They said gunfire also struck several homes and vehicles in the neighborhood, but there were no reports of injuries at those homes. Detectives with the police department's gun violence reduction unit recovered several firearms during the investigation. Albuquerque Police Chief Harold Medina said it's the second time in 2 months that large house parties resulted in a barrage of gunfire. Detectives have identified several people involved and they will work with the district attorney's office to pursue charges against those who are responsible, Medina added. Unprecedented murder surge. The U.S. is currently in the throes of an unprecedented surge in murders, experts say. According to FBI data released last month, the category of violent crime rose by 30% last year, with more than 21,500 murders recorded. The total was up from 16,669 in 2019, according to the FBI, one of the sharpest increases in murders in several years. That's an unprecedented one-year rise, Richard Rosenfeld, a criminology professor at the University of Missouri St. Louis, told NBC. Other violent crimes such as rape and aggravated assault also increased during the same time period. However, the country's homicide rate, 6.5% per 100,000 people, is still lower than it was during most of the 1990s. Experts have said it is difficult to pinpoint the reason for the rise in murders but suggest the pandemic and gun ownership have likely played a role. I don't think we know for sure, Rosenfeld said. We don't have definitive answers. Source: the-sun.com. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.